Good afternoon. At the end of my speech today, I'm going to give you a radical idea of what you should tell your friends and family you want for Christmas. How many of you here today have the most meaningful life possible? Raise your hand. All right. How many of you are here today because you're still looking to add more meaning to your life? Okay, well, those of you who raised your hand the second time, you're just like me. You see, I read the news every day, and I listen to the radio, and I hear all of these meaningless statistics or meaningless stories or stories that make me wonder, where is the meaning in life? Okay, how about this fact? Over 1.5 million children have a parent who's in prison. These children are afflicted with isolation, shame, and sadness. They feel like it's their fault that their parent is in prison, and yet it's completely not their fault. Over 12.2% of Florida households will not have something to eat tonight. Can you imagine going home and not having any food at all? What's the meaning of all this? With all these meaningless things that I hear, it makes me wonder, how do I know that my life has meaning? Well, after struggling and looking for meaning in all different kinds of ways, I've discovered something that many other people have already discovered, that it is more blessed to give than to receive. You see, Albert Pike said that what we do for ourselves dies when we die, but what we do for others in the world, that is immortal. So what do we have to do? Become like Mother Teresa? Live in poverty? Give up everything? Have no fun at all? What do we get out of giving? Well, let me tell you. Cammie Walker, she had everything going for herself. She had just got a new promotion. She had just married the man of her dreams. But then one day she woke up and she couldn't walk. And then she started losing her eyesight. Well, the doctor told her some bad news. He said, "Cammie, I'm very sorry to tell you, but the tests come in conclusively. You have multiple sclerosis." Well, Cammie was devastated. Everything was going right, and now it had all ended. Cammie called up her friend, and she said, everything was going good, and I don't understand, what did I do to deserve this? Why is my life messed up now? And her friend said, "Cammie, you need to stop thinking about yourself." Well, this jolted Cammie out of her pity party, and she said, What do you mean? And her friend said, "Listen, what you need to do is do something radical. How about this? Give away 29 gifts over 29 days. 29 gifts over 29 days. Well, Cammie made a commitment to do that. So she every morning would go online or call friends and find people who needed her help. And she'd give them money or a gift. She once made a handmade cane for someone. And by the 14th day, something remarkable had happened. Cammie had started to be able to walk without her cane. She was so excited about this physical ramification of giving, she made a blog. And now she has a book called 29 Gifts, How a Month of Giving Can Change Your Life. So we learned from Cammie's story that we can improve and change our own life by giving. But we can also find out what we can improve other people's lives. Like what does the impact of our giving have on other people? Well, my pastor told a story the other day about his little daughter 6 years ago. She told him, Daddy, I want to get a bird. And he said, "Okay, Lauren, well, you can get a bird, but you have to buy it yourself." Her parents were very sure it would take her many, many years to save up money to buy her own bird. So little Lauren worked really hard with enthusiasm to save up money, and after several months, she had all of $7. So Lauren was so excited. She was really, still far away from getting the bird, but she was making progress. Well, one Sunday, she was sitting in church, and she heard an announcement. Luke Brown, one of the church's missionaries, was having a lot of struggles. He had all kinds of problems going on. He questioned if he really should be there. Did God really want him there? But Lauren was touched by this story, and she said to her parents, I'm going to send him one of my $7. They said, okay, you can do it. It's your money. So, to you guys, probably $1 is not a lot of money. But for her, she only had 7, and she had been saving for a long time. So she wrote him a letter, and she sent it to him. A few months later, Luke Brown came back to give a report on his progress. And he came up to Lauren. He said, Lauren, you would not believe it. When you sent me that $1 that day, everything was going wrong. I just was in the depths of despair. I was on the edge of going home completely. But you changed my whole day. You made me realize that I can still make progress. I'm here for a reason, and you encouraged me so much. Thank you. So, we've learned now that you can change your own life in Cammie's story, and you can change other people's lives and touch them. So remember at the beginning I told you guys that I'm going to give you a radical idea of what to tell your friends for Christmas? Now, I want you to each look down into your own self. Each of you has things that you care about. Something maybe in the community that's going on. Perhaps it's child mortality, or maybe it's education, or crisis pregnancy. But each of you has a cause that touches you. Well, I want you to make a commitment. Make a commitment that you're going to support that cause. And I want you guys to do this completely radical thing, is tell your friends and family that you want them to donate to that cause instead of buying you a Christmas present this year. It's a big, big change for each of us. You see, Cammie, she had the light. And Lauren, she had the light. Each of you has the light. You just need to put it into practice. Thank you.